So hello everyone, my name is Oskari Jaakkola. I'm one of the old members of Käpylä Maanantai. Some of you might know me from a few years back when I was playing ice hockey and football with you guys. Since then I've moved over to Amsterdam, and as many of you over there in Finland, I'm also in a more or less lockdown state in my home. Since we're all more or less stuck at home and unable to go to the gym, I figured that I'd take some time to show you some things that you can do at home to keep up your fitness in this exceptional period. To start off, let's do a little warm up. So to warm up, we're going to do two movements. Firstly, the burpee, and secondly, the air squat. I'm going to show you the progression of both of those movements, after which you can perform them in your own time. So firstly, the burpee. In the burpee, we're going to place our hands on the ground, jump our feet backwards, lay flat on the ground, snake up, jump forward, extend our hip, and jump up. So one more time. It's important to remember that you must fully extend your hip when you come up, and you must lay flat on the floor when you're down. Now perform 10 burpees in your own time. You can post this video in the meanwhile. Very good. Now, let's look at the air squat. One of the most important things in all sports is hip drive and the way you move your hip. Power originates from the core and there radiates to the extremities in order to lift weights, to move obstacles, to kick a ball, and to do basically anything that you need to do in your basic life, in your daily life. So, in the air squat, it is a simple movement, but it's very important that you move your hip in the correct way. Think of yourself as sitting down on a chair. So your hip goes back first, hip back, sit down. Up, hip, up. Make sure to keep a proud chest while you come up. A full repetition ends up in thighs below parallel. You can now perform 10 repetitions and pause this video in the meantime. Okay, so now we have a little bit of an idea on those two movements. So let's perform more of them, and let's try to increase the intensity a little bit. So let's go for 10 burpees, 10 air squats, 10 burpees, and 10 air squats. So follow me, let's go. Very good. Let's take a breather. So now we're all nicely warm. We can proceed to do some mobility exercises before we move on to the workout of the day. So let's start off with flexing our hip flexors. So take one big step forward, other leg back, and push down. Push your hip forward while you're here. Slowly place your knee on the floor. Keep pressing your hip forward. Place your hands next to your foot. Push your knee outside. If your mobility allows, you can place your elbows on the ground as well. Then let's perform 5 upper body twists so that you keep your left elbow on the ground. You move your right arm up, rotating your torso from the hip, keeping your eyes locked onto your palm. And repeat on the other side. Hands next to your foot. Pushing your knee outside. You still keep your toes on the ground. Elbows on the ground. And twisting the upper body. You'll hear some nice spine cracking noises, most likely. That's exactly what we're looking for. Good. Okay, so moving on to the workout of the day. So, focus of today is we want to have a balanced workout. We want to work out the extremities and we want to work the core. What all great athletes have in common, that doesn't include myself unfortunately just yet, but usually their hip extension is very powerful. So we want to work our hip extension in nearly every workout we do, and today is no exception. So today's workout is going to consist of thrusters, which I'm going to show you in a bit, push-ups, and single leg squats or pistol squats. Don't worry if this sounds a bit scary. We're going to show a progression for each of these movements that will allow everybody to do the workout. So firstly, let's look at the thruster. The equipment that you're going to need for this is pretty much any type of weight, weighing anywhere from 5 kilos to 20 kilos or even much more, just as much as you can handle. We're working with home equipment obviously right now, so what I suggest you do is you take a regular sports bag or a backpack, and you fill bottles with water and you put them inside and just fill it with a pillow or something that keeps the back tight. and then use that. I would have done the same, but I actually just took all my bottles to the store, so I didn't have any bottles anymore, so I'm going to use a medicine ball to show you. So thruster, let's look at the thruster first, how it works, how it looks like. So the thruster consists of a front squat and a push press. Front squat and a push press. Now, note that when I'm coming up from the squat, I'm driving with my hip. So it's a squat, bah, bah. The hips go first and then only the arms. The hip drive is going to give momentum for the weight so that it's easier to push up. So please now go ahead and try it on your own time. Focus on initiating the squat by pushing your hip back, and when coming up, initiate the hip before the arms. Go ahead and try. Very good. So let's practice 5 thrusters with your weight of choice. Good. Let's move on to the push-up. So for the push-up, let's start from the push-up from the knees. This is the first variation of push-up. So place your hands on the ground, approximately shoulder width apart. With your knees on the ground, lower yourself on the ground so the chest touches the ground and push yourself up. It's important to note that the full repetition of a pushback or a push-up includes chest touching the ground and a full extension of the elbows at the end. Then let's move on to the next variation of push-up. If you were able to do the knees push-up, then you can do the full push-up with the eccentric part only and getting up in a free manner. So place your feet on the ground, lower your chest on the ground, and get up from the knees or any other way you want. If this was still easy, we will move on to the full version of the push-up, which is from the feet, chest touching the ground, and a full extension of the elbows at the end. Let's perform 5 repetitions. Very good. Okay, so let's move on to the pistol squat. The pistol squat is a one-leg squat. It's a challenging movement, an advanced movement, and the first variation, the first scaled version in the workout is going to be the air squat. So if you feel that you're not yet on the level that you perform air squats, then you'll be performing the pistol squats. So then you'll be performing the air squats that we learned in the beginning. And the air squat, as you remember, initiate from the hip, drive your knees out, and keep your core engaged all the way up and down. Chest up. So for the pistol squat, the first variation of the pistol squat is a supported pistol squat. So with a chair or anything you find around the house, support yourself when you do your pistol squat. The most challenging part in the pistol squat is that you'll need to support your other leg somewhere so it doesn't touch the ground. It's impossible to maintain a neutral spine while you do this pistol squat, so you'll need to bend your spine, unlike in a normal squat, and you also need to have some ankle mobility. So let's try. Take a chair and support yourself from that. And on the other side. Good. Now let's move on to the next variation of the pistol squat. Next variation of the pistol squat is a supported pistol squat, which doesn't necessarily require as much ankle mobility as the full pistol squat or the supported pistol squat. So this might be your variation if you experience issues with your ankle mobility. So place your other foot behind your supporting foot and squat. You can also keep it slightly on the ground, which is a little bit easier. And the other foot. Very good. Full pistol squat. So initiate with your hip as with an air squat. Extend your free leg forward, and you'll need to bend forward to keep your center of gravity above your ankle. Looks like this. Go ahead and try the variations and decide which one would be the best for you in the workout that we're soon going to do. So now we've gone through all the movements that we're going to have in our workout today. Our workout today is going to be 14 minutes of time for as many rounds as possible, performing 16 thrusters, 10 push-ups, and 6 alternating pistol squats. And then you're going to go again from the beginning. So 16 thrusters, 10 push-ups, and 6 alternating pistol squats. So take a timer from your watch or from your phone or whatever, put on some cute music, hopefully you have a partner, hammer out the workout, count your rounds, and then once you're done, post your rounds, as how many full rounds and how many repetitions from the last round did you do in those 14 minutes. And post your result in the Käpylä Maanantai Facebook page under this video. And then we can virtual high five each other after the workout. Once you're done with the workout, just put me in pause now. Once you're done, press play again, and then we're going to do the finishing little spice. So let's go, guys. So great, guys. Was a good workout. I hope it was. While you die just a little bit from the exhaustion from the workout, and before we do our little core finisher, I just wanted to give you a word or two about what I think fitness is. Fitness, for me at least, is a broad domain of different kinds of abilities of a human to perform in the most varied situations you could imagine. This means that you'll be able to perform in the sports field and in any tasks in life that you might encounter. Life is very rarely repetitive, and most of the situations where you require your physical abilities are surprising. And it's difficult to be prepared for surprising situations if you keep doing the same things always. Run a 5K every day, or hit the gym, do the same machines every time, or run basically any type of routine in your workout. If you do the PEC developer every day, you'll become very good in PEC developer, but it doesn't mean that you'll become better in anything else except for the PEC developer. Same applies to bench press, and basically to any movement that you could imagine. So ideally, what I found myself in doing all types of sports is that constantly varied movements and exercises actually produce the best results. What it means is that I'll try to help you guys out, hopefully in the future, by posting these videos, by introducing constantly varied exercises that are performed at high intensity. These, as you might know, are philosophies of CrossFit. I'm a CrossFit level 1 trainer myself, and many of you probably think that it's a lot of buzzwords and a lot of hippie fashion things that go on in CrossFit, but it's a proven realm of fitness, and it has been shown that it dramatically improves performance in athletes across the line, from elderly people to Olympic athletes and everything in between. And this is achieved by performing constantly varied functional movements at high intensity. So basically it means gymnastics, strength training, cardiovascular training, mobility training, all kinds of domains that you could imagine. Ideally, where we'd like to end up in the imaginary future is that if there's like a lottery machine that's full of different kinds of tasks on pieces of paper that are written like do a deadlift 1 rep max, run a 2-mile race, or perform as many as possible pull-ups, or do an obstacle course, or build a sandbag wall, or whatever you could imagine. And then the lottery machine would be rotated, and each person, or there would be participants, and you always pull one paper and it says a task for all the people to perform, and this process is repeated over and over again, that at the end we could be people that perform well in any type of challenge that comes out of the machine. If we're able to do that, we're going to be able to be dominant in whatever kind of sport we choose. And that's a very good basis for Käpylä Maanantai as well, in football, in ice hockey, in floorball, which everybody knows I don't think is a sport, but nevertheless I know some of you guys like that very much, and anything else you guys decide to do in life. So that's fitness to me. Good, let's go for the abs. Okay, so for the final part, we're going to work on the abdominals and the core. For this part, you're going to need woolen socks. I believe all Finns will have those readily available at home, and probably the weather in Finland also justifies their use after the workout. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a push-up position on the floor. We're going to slide our feet towards our hands. Then slide the feet back and slide it upwards again. And we're going to go in sets of 10, take a small break, and repeat it 4 times. So we're going to show an example of how to do it, and then you can perform it yourselves. So that was our training this time, for the first time. I hope you enjoyed it. and I hope to return with some more quarantine workouts while we hopefully improve the situation out there as well, so that at some point we can hit the gym again. But in the meanwhile, thanks a lot for watching, and have a good day.